Welcome to the Kyle and Jim Fantasy Football Extraordinaire. Well, pretty disappointing week for all of us. Teams didn't win. Some big time injuries. Pretty somber episode, but we do have some fantasy to talk about for next episode. Some good things to learn about. How you doing, Kyle?
I'm good. Good as can be, given the last week of football. You shouldn't say it was bad for all of us. There's one person in the league who had a good week, I guess. Kind of. The Vikings had a win, but they were also eliminated from the playoff contention this week, which is ironic, but that's how it goes sometimes. Heebs is too upset still over the Packers' most recent loss, so he couldn't come on tonight. So we'll touch back with him next week. Hopefully it's after a Packers win, and he can get his mojo back and be strong enough to come on here.
Get his rebound going.
Yeah. Yeah, this will be the football half of the show, and I think we'll just jump right into it. So we will start with the Bears versus the Browns, the least important one to anyone listening to this. So the Bears won handily, 31-3. Caleb Williams, he cracked 60% completion barrier, 242 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Caleb Williams actually played very good in this game. He had some very good throws. One of his touchdown throws I thought was very questionable, but it worked, so you can't knock it. Swift, he had a good game, 98 yards on the ground of their total 142. He also picked up 2 touchdowns. The Bears had 3 picks to keep their theme of turnover differential kings this season. When they get the ball an extra few times, they win. That's just been their story this year, and they've been getting the ball an extra few times quite often. Other side of the ball, the Browns, there's not much highlights. I mean, they scored 3 points. There's really nothing to say. Shedeur Sanders, 18 out of 35, 177 yards, 0 touchdowns, 3 picks. I mean, he was coming off a fantastic game, but this one, no bueno. What did you think?
I didn't get to watch much of this one. The one cool thing is Caleb Williams has the least amount of picks after 1,000 passes in the NFL. So I don't think a lot of people expected that from him. He is kind of more of a risk taker. He has thrown a lot of picks in college. I should say a lot, but his archetype is a player that does throw more picks. He kind of fits that same Mahomes, Stafford. They're more risk takers. They're really good outside the pocket. They typically throw more picks, more risk. They're not as risk adverse, like someone like Jared Goff. So
Sure.
I just thought that was kind of interesting. They got back to their ground game this week. Clearly, I think that the Browns are kind of checked out. I mean, I don't blame them. Outside of Garrett getting the sack record, I don't think there's much for that team to play for at the moment. They have some rookies that are playing okay. I don't think Sanders is really that good. Yeah, he had a good game last week, but I mean, he's also just playing off first read. He does not look like an NFL starter to me, despite that great game last week. Like you said, they have been the turnover kings this year. That's really the one thing that keeps their defense from looking better than it is. They do give up a lot of yards, but they do seem to keep making turnovers, which is, helping them win a lot of these games. And like this game, 31-3, pretty lopsided when you're playing against an inferior offense and your defense is turning it over or getting turnovers like that. It's going to let the offense, pretty much just coast to an easy win. That's kind of what this looked like. Bears are, they're a threat. I still don't know how good they are for like a playoff team. I would still think they're the worst team out of the division between the Lions and the Packers. Maybe not the Packers with some of the injuries that they have, because I'm interested to see how that's going to play out. But
Get into that.
I mean, right now they look pretty with their record. They beat the Packers. I think they're going to be feeling really good. But we'll see. Like I said, I think they're still the third best team in this division despite their record. Curious to see how the season's going to end up. It's going to be a wild. Was it 4 more games or 3 more games?
Just 3 more. Yep.
3 more, and it's going to be a wild 3 games between all 3 teams. Because
there's a lot of divisional games in there too.
Yep.
Packers play the Bears. The Bears, the Ravens, and the Vikings to end it. You guys play the Bears to end it. You have the Vikings in there once too, right? One more time.
I can't remember. You think I would know these things?
Yeah, I think you would go Vikings Bears to end it. I know the Bears is your last game. So that might be a
I know
very
the
important
Bears.
game for both teams.
Yep. So we play the Steelers, then the Vikings,
Steelers.
and then the Bears.
Okay.
And I know the Bears is going to be in Soldier Field. We play the Steelers in Ford Field, and we play the Vikings. So we have 2 road games to finish out in the division. So that's not
Yeah.
an easy task for us either.
No. Because the Vikings, they've looked a little better these last couple weeks. Um, so you don't want to just talk. 2 weeks ago, I was like, yeah, those are just free wins. But after watching these last 2 weeks, I'm like, fuck, maybe it's not a free win anymore. They have looked. Not saying they look great, but they look competent now. They don't look
Well,
like
and
complete
they
shit
beat
show.
us when
And they beat you guys.
McKenzie
That's
first
right
came
too.
back. That was his only good game during that really bad stretch. Pretty much his first good game of his career was against us. So, I mean, I'm sure the Lions are to come in with a different game plan, but I'm not. None of those I'm looking at like, oh, we're just going to win. I still think the Lions have a good shot, but they got to get healthy too.
Yeah, easier said than done. Any final comments on Bears versus Browns? I didn't have too much. I mean, it's the
Yeah,
Browns. You beat them. Packers couldn't
yeah.
do it, but everyone else in the NFL seems pretty capable of doing it. Other than the
Isn't
Titans. Well, even the
how
Titans
close is
beat
Garrett
them.
to the record now? I think is he tied or is he one
No,
behind?
I think he's a half sack behind because he only got, or maybe he's a full sack behind because I think he had a sack in this game, but they changed it to a half sack.
They did change it to a half sack, so I didn't know if that meant he was a half sack behind or a full sack behind. So
I think he's a full
he's
sack behind tying it, so you need a sack and a half to break it.
3
Which,
games. He's probably yeah.
yeah,
I kind of hope he just shatters it, like it's like 5 sacks in the next 3. It'd be cool to see.
I don't know who they play, but
I don't think it
yeah,
matters. He's just unstoppable. I mean, he's gonna have probably a
true.
sack almost in every game. I would at least imagine he's gonna have 2 sacks in the next 3 as like probably his bare minimum the way he's been playing.
Yeah, it's impressive because like teams don't even have to throw against the Browns at all because the Browns are just out of almost every game, and he
He
still manages to get
is.
sacks anyways.
I think he's better than Aaron Donald, who's probably the best defensive player we've seen in the last 15 years or so. Um, I'm trying to think like he's probably in the same category as Reggie White. I think by the time his career's done, like he's just a monster. I mean, especially if he's going to do this, and he's already been like defense player of the year at least once, I think, probably twice. So he's guaranteed at least a second one, maybe his third defense player of the year. And I don't think he's even 30 yet, is he?
Maybe not. Maybe just under 30.
I think
This
he's
is
gonna.
this was his. He was holding out for his second contract, so he's probably usually get your first one when you have your rookie contract till you're like 26, and your next one comes when you're like 29 or so,
Yeah,
which is
that
usually
sounds.
when it is.
I would guess he's probably around like 29, 31 is where I would
Yeah,
guess. Let's see. Miles Garrett, 29.
29. Okay,
So yeah, he's gonna have a
he's got
quite
a few
the
more.
resume by the time he's done.
Probably like 1, 2 more years before he starts to decline.
Yeah, I think that's fair. But a decline for him might still be the best player in
Oh, I
the
mean,
defense of the league. He might be like
yeah,
5 years of still being like borderline elite,
yeah, yeah. You never know. One shitty thing happening can derail a career real fast too, depending what it is.
especially when you get older like that.
Yeah, the older you get, the longer anything's gonna take to heal up and get right. Yeah, jump out of the Lions versus the Rams. So the Lions lose 34-41. Lions were actually up in this game. What was it, 21-10 at one point? I mean, the first half was looking Lions.
There's a lot of back and forth. I mean, you could just tell from the game this is going to be one of those games that was going to be probably like close to 40-40 with whoever has the ball at the end. It was pretty obvious that neither defense could
Yeah,
stop the offenses.
but yeah. Goff had a great game. 338 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Lions rushing game does what it tends to do in losses, which wasn't enough. Gibbs had 13 carries for 38 yards. Gibbs did get another 20 through the air, and on 4 receptions. Monty he had 7 carries for 32, but he did snag a touchdown. So this tends to be the story of the Lions' losses this year. Is just the ground game doesn't get rolling.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious what our weakness is, and the Rams attacked it. That's the
Mm-hmm.
way to beat us. It's still funny, like even attacking our weakness, this offense is still like the number 1 offense in the league for points. But yeah, if you can shut down the run game, we can't sustain drives, and then we have to rely on big plays, and that's
Hmm.
just not a formula to win because then your defense gets tired, and our defense is already really injured. So the Rams did a really good job of playing to that. They knew they were going to get points scored on them, but that is the way to beat us.
Yeah, like you said, you still put up 34 points, even without very much run game. I mean, yeah, Goff plus Amon Ra plus JMO is a pretty deadly combo on its own.
Mm-hmm.
And they relied on those guys heavily, but it just was barely not quite enough. And sometimes it's just harder. I mean, you can't quite get to those spots where you can just constantly be going for it on fourth downs when your running game's not getting you those 2 or 3 yards and getting you close enough to go for them. Other notes: Hutchinson, he had an awesome pick, almost pick six, but he did get caught from behind, didn't quite make it there. He's a big dude. He's not the fastest dude in the world. It's hard for him to outrun safeties and corners that are chasing him down.
He was starting to lose gas at the end too. I
Yeah,
mean,
you could
you could
tell.
see like he was at the point where he's like, man, I just want to fall over. He's a big guy. It's hard to keep that up. I mean, he's not like a 300 pluser, trying to do that, but I mean, he's still like, I think he's probably around 280.
Yeah.
But he still has wheels, man. He was still pulling away from some
Oh
people in
yeah.
the beginning of that. I mean, he's got to at least be around like a 4.7 guy. I mean, he moves, and that was an incredible pick. And that's the
Yeah.
thing I
He
love
just
about
snatched it.
Hutch. He's a great pass rusher, but he's also like, I don't want to say elite run defender, but a very very good run defender. And I think he's got like 5 picks now in his career, and he just he makes so many plays that are not normal plays for defensive ends. He always
He's
causes fumbles in the run game. He's getting picks like that. He's actually exceptional in coverage for a defensive end. It's just nice to have a guy who's so well rounded. I mean, sometimes you'd probably wish he was a little bit more like productive in the sack department. He is one of those guys that gets more pressures than sacks a lot of the time. But man, he is such a well-rounded player.
Yeah, well, even on this one too. I mean, sometimes you don't get the sack because you recognize I'm not going to get there quite in time, so he just stops and jumps. And maybe the guy doesn't actually pass it, but on this one, he recognized like I'm not going to make it, but I'm pretty sure he's about to pass it. So he stops, jumps, snatches it out of the air. It was a very good
Yeah.
play, very heads
A
up
lot of
play.
very very good instincts. Like that's probably
Yeah,
what I'm trying to say is like his instincts for defensive end might be one of the best in the league, even though he might not be as athletic and maybe as twitchy as some other ends. Even like Micah Parsons, he's not that, but he does have. Again, he's always making plays outside of like what he should be doing, and it's fun to watch.
yep. On the other side of the ball, Stafford, he also had a great game. Obviously, when you put up 41 points, but he had 368 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did have the pick that we just talked about. Honestly, I don't. It's hard to blame the quarterback for a real great play like that. It's a good interception. Rams had a complimentary run game. That was, like I said, it's kind of the difference. Kyron had 15 carries for 78 yards, 2 touchdowns. This might be Kyron's first multiple touchdown game all season.
I think
They actually
so.
kind of used him in the goal line for once.
Adams is
Uh,
banged up, and I think he
yeah,
even tweaked his hamstring in this one. So yeah, they seem to. He was more. I don't want to say a decoy, but they definitely didn't want to use him in the same way they've been using him all season. Maybe that's to get ready for the playoffs too. Maybe they're trying to show some different looks to give teams a little bit more like pause on that play, or the plays that they do run of Adams. But I
hmm
mean, they're kind of showing to you like it doesn't really matter. They're going to probably score touchdowns in the red zone. They're just too well rounded of an offense.
yeah. Well, I think Adams is probably going to sit out until the playoffs. I would guess because he's not going to play. He hurt his hamstring, so they play Thursday night against the Seahawks, which is like their last big matchup. And I assume if he's not going to play that one, you might as well set him for the rest of the season. Because if you lose it, you probably lost the 1 seed anyways. If you win it, you can probably win your last 2 without him. Would be my thoughts for the Rams. So you probably just let
Yeah,
him sit at that point. Let him sit a month.
especially if a hamstring. Those are those ones that you would
Yeah,
want to give an extra week if you can.
yeah. And Devon Andrews is no spring chicken. I mean, give him a month off if you can.
Right.
Like you're going to be in the playoffs either way, as long as you're winning your division. Well, I guess they might not win the division if they lose to the Seahawks, but that's determined on Thursday. I don't see him coming back by Thursday. But yeah, also on the ground game, Blake Corum. He had 11 carries for 71 yards and a touchdown for himself. That's a very great game for him. He doesn't get used too often. He was a real hot prospect, high draft pick last year for them, but he just doesn't get the action.
Oh,
But
they're starting
obviously
to
he's
use them
capable.
now. They seem
Yeah,
to have they changed up the way they're playing Kyron and Blake now. So Blake obviously was like the backup before, but now he's
Yeah.
getting,
Now it's
they're
like a
using like
60-40.
like the Lions. They have two backs. They have two good
Yep.
backs, and they know it. So they're going to try to spread out the carries between them. And I think that's a smart thing. And it's also really smart for the playoffs. I think maybe this has always been the plan to have Blake Corum kind of ready. And I have heard that they were hoping to kind of keep Kyron healthy for the playoffs. So that also might be part of it. And then once the playoffs start,
Sure.
they're going to go right back to Kyron. But it shows that they have a very capable backup. So if they can, they're going to give him touches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Other than that, Rams, they didn't get any turnovers themselves. They were just a little bit more efficient with the ball when they had it. The only notes I had was injuries. Kirby Joseph, this didn't happen in the game, but he had been hurt, and I heard he had a setback, and he might get put on IR now. So now you're out branching Kirby for a while, unless you know more than I do about that.
Actually, I didn't know he had a setback. I just know he didn't play, so I didn't know if there was anything beyond just no IR. I've been a lackluster fan this year, so yeah, that's a big thing. Like we were talking about before the podcast. I think
Yeah.
Kirby Joseph being out has been a much bigger drop off than I expected. And with Brian Branch being injured too now, like the whole secondary is injured, just like it was last year. I mean, we do have DJ Reed, who's okay. And we have another good corner, but they're a little bit slower. They can't keep up with some of the faster guys, so they kind of rely on safety play, and it just seems like DJ Reed is just not a number one. So that's just to lose our number one corner earlier in the year, and then have him kind of fill into that spot. Like he's a good guy against possession receivers, but people that have that little extra gear, he just can't keep up with them, or just elite receivers. He does struggle with a lot, and he had one of the best in this game, and he got torched quite a bit. So,
I mean, most guys are going to get torched by that wide receiver duo over there. That's hard.
Right.
That's hard to keep on those guys.
Puka was just having his way with him, though. Puka was getting like a yard or two separation, like constantly. He just can't keep up, and that's not even a fast guy. That's normally where I thought he would be okay with someone like Puka, but Puka's just. It's really just Puka and Stafford. They have such an uncanny.
Yeah.
They just know where they know where each other is going to be. They're hard to stop, and that's just been Stafford. He has like one guy on every team that he just seems to have that connection with, and it's nearly unstoppable. It goes all the way back to Calvin.
Yeah, only note I had on this one was the touchdown catch that never was by that Rams tight end. You saw the replay, right? Like everyone in the world was like, "How did you give him a touchdown on that?" I don't even know if he caught the ball.
I don't think he caught the ball.
Maybe he didn't, but like it absolutely was not a touchdown. Like there's no chance in hell it was a touchdown.
Well, the way they ruled it, which to me is bullshit, because this would probably then prove it's not a catch. But they ruled supposedly that he did not have possession of the ball, but regained it while he was in the end zone. But if you do that, it was pretty clear that ball was touching the ground, in my opinion, when he was bobbling it down and he kind of was hit. You could see the ball hitting the ground with his hands kind of like near it and under it. So it's like if you at all say he bobbled it, it's touching the ground at that point. That's an incomplete pass. So I honestly don't mind that they called it a catch, but their ruling is complete bullshit, and it should have been just down on the one, because you can't tell me that he didn't have possession of the ball going down, because then it touched the ground. It's not a catch. So I don't know.
That one didn't make any sense.
I'm not going to go into my rant again.
That's fine.
But it's just also the spread on this game was like 7 points, and they hit the spread. So I don't know. I still think it's a compromised sport. I think sports betting is ruining shit, and I think calls are getting worse, and that's literally what this to me is. But yeah, I think it could have been considered a catch on the one, and I wouldn't be complaining right now. It's more so how they called it that makes me annoyed, because I just don't understand it then. So it's another situation where no one knows what a catch is.
I mean,
no one knows what pass interference is. It's just
if it's a catch on the one, like I presume they're getting a touchdown anyways. So there wasn't a lot of defensive stops in that game. Obviously,
we weren't stopping them. It really wouldn't have had anything with the outcome of the game unless he didn't catch it. That's the only way that would have probably changed the outcome of the game. But again, if they would just called it a catch on the one, I would have been fine with it. The fact
Yeah, I
that they
don't
called it the
understand the
way they
catch.
did,
Yeah, it didn't make
I'm
sense to
just
me either.
confused.
I'm like,
So
either it's a catch on the one, or it's not a catch. Like, to magically it's a touchdown somehow was just the strange part of it. Like, how is that a touchdown? The dude's
it happens
clearly
to us
not
like
in the
every
end
week.
zone when he's on the ground.
Every week, and it's funny because like I was
Yeah, it's weird.
reading
Yeah,
Reddit after that one, and how the bot always posts it, and literally everyone's like basically saying like, okay, it's definitely not a touchdown, and it's probably not a catch, and it was just like everyone was just like, why does this happen to Lions every week? And just everyone, I'm just like, I just started getting more and more depressed. I'm like, yep, every week it just seems like there's one, and I used to be one of those guys who never complained about it, but it's the product sucks. Trust me, it's just not fun to watch. I wish we could have more consistency with we have all the technology to be consistent with these things, and it's just they choose not to be.
yeah. Well,
But
yeah,
yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, we'll move off of that one.
it's a good
Let's
game.
any closing thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I mean it pretty much went how I expected. The Lions secondary is banged up. We weren't going to stop Stafford and Puka, Devontae Adams. I knew it was going to be a high scoring game. Um, it sucks because Goff is looking incredible this year, even
Yeah,
with the offensive line. That was always the weakness of him, was like supposedly when, things don't go well around him with the offensive line is when he struggles. That doesn't happen anymore. Like Goff has become one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league. And this year proves it because everyone's like, oh, is it Ben Johnson? Oh, is it Sean McVay? It's like, I'm so sick and tired of who it is. Just give that dude some credit. He is playing incredible the last couple of years. It doesn't matter who his offensive coordinator is. Yeah, he's got some crazy talent around him, but I think he's like top 2 or 3 in almost every important statistic this year for a passer. And I'm just impressed with him every game. He doesn't seem to make the boneheaded errors anymore. The only team that really flustered him much this season was the Packers. And
yeah,
that's pretty much been it. Like he's just been locked in. I would still, if we had a better record right now, I would argue that he could be the MVP, even though I think it is Stafford at the moment. But like the last 3 games could easily flip that. And if he does go crazy the next 3 games and we make the playoffs, he could still win the MVP, which I think is ridiculous at this point. I don't think he could do that. But um, yeah, it's fun to watch him too. He's just been everything you could have imagined from that trade. There's even a thing I saw that on Reddit that got posted for me from the Rams subreddit, and the guy posted this picture like, Lions fans, we need to have a talk, and he was basically saying how no, the Lions lost that trade for Stafford, and like literally all the other Rams fans are just like, are you fucking stupid? Like this is clearly a great trade for the Lions because we got Jameer Gibbs, Jamison Williams, and we got I can't think. Man, I'm so bad at names nowadays.
you got your pass
Sam
rusher from
Laporta
him, right?
and Sam
Oh yeah,
Laporta. No, we
Laporta.
got Sam Laporta. We got 2 other players too, but we traded picks, so it wasn't like all those
Okay.
were from the trade. But like
Yeah,
we
yeah.
traded those. Mostly those are from the 2 first rounders. Was JMO, Jameer, and then we traded up to get Laporta. But anyways,
Hmm.
you get those 3 guys plus Jared Goff first. You'll do the every day for Stafford. Like Goff is barely worse than Stafford, and the talent we got in that trade is just insane.
Yeah, and
And
you guys have been one of the top teams pretty much ever since.
right,
But
so
shockingly, the Rams have been too. Like even with trading away all the picks to like we're gonna go win a Super Bowl right now, they're like, "Where's your fall off?" Like they never fell off.
they
Like they just
got
keep being good.
so lucky with Puka. I think that
I mean,
really is
that's
it.
part of it. Yeah, I mean that's a last round pick. He's the best receiver, one of the best receivers in the NFL now. Yeah, that's nuts.
But they're
That
they're
helps a
such a good
lot.
team at drafting, so that's why they do trade picks like that. Like they trust their mid to like mostly mid,
Yeah,
like second, third, and like going to like maybe like second to fifth round. They might be the best team in the league at drafting, and that's really where the Lions have been good, and that's where our general manager came from. Brad Holmes was in St. Louis or
mm.
Los Angeles before he came over here. And that's the same way we look at things. So I'm actually surprised we're not more aggressive trading our first rounders, being that's where we came from. But maybe we're going to see that next year because we might have to look at if ramping up or revamping our offensive line. Taylor Decker might retire, and obviously our interior. We have some young guys, so maybe center would look at, but we could be looking at a new left tackle or center, and we might have to trade some draft capital to get that. I'm not sure if they want to go into next season with a rookie center and a rookie left tackle. I think they're going to want
Yeah.
to make sure they have at least someone they can trust, so we don't have the same issue we had in the middle of our offensive line this year.
All right. Should we jump into the Packers versus the Broncos?
Let's do it.
All right. So the Packers lose 26-34. Not only did we lose this game, but we may well have lost the season in this game. I mean, this one was brutal. This was the most painful Packers game I've watched since probably like the 2020 playoffs. You know, that year, it was Rodgers' MVP year. I was like, man, we're looking like the best team in the NFL again. Everything was good, and then we get bounced in round one by the fucking 49ers in a home game at Lambeau when it's fucking 0 degrees outside, and we lose fucking 13-10 or whatever the fuck it was. Like, we couldn't do anything. This is the most painful non-playoff game I've ever watched by far. Like, hands in it. And it's not the loss, obviously. Everyone listening to this knows what I'm referring to. Because, I mean, this game was just everything. Everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. I mean, it started great. The first half was awesome. We looked like the better team. We were doing great. I was like, yes, this is what I wanted to see. I wanted to see us go up against the number one seed in the AFC and look good, and we did, and everything was going great. We go into the halftime with only a 2-point lead, but they had the ball first. Like, whatever, we'll take that. Second half starts. We get the ball, go right down the field, score in like 4 plays. I'm like, fuck yeah, we're up by 9. Things are looking good. We stop them. They get the ball back, 3 and out. We stop them. I'm like, fuck yes, everything is going gravy. And then it just all falls apart right after that. Just one thing after a fucking another. So it starts with the first play of our second drive of the half after we had just stopped them. We decided to take a bomb pass to Watson. And I know people are upset with this. Like, you're up by 9. You have all the momentum. Why aren't you running the ball, running the clock? It's like, take the stab. If that pass is completed and Watson scores a touchdown, it's over. That game's fucking over. Like, and you take the, and it was one-on-one coverage. I liked everything about it. I liked the play call. I liked the throw. I guess could have been a little bit further, but I'm not gonna knock where the accuracy of that throw. It wasn't bad. But anyways, Surtain makes a great play. He intercepts it, and in the same play, he kind of lands on Watson. So Watson leaves with a chest injury. It sounds like he might be okay. I don't really know for sure yet. The only update I've had is from his dad, because his dad
I saw that.
is an animal on Twitter. Yeah, I mean, when it first happened, his dad was on Twitter blaming Jordan Love and kind of being a douche. But then,
I hate when the players like dads and family do that
yeah,
crap. It's like, just shut up. You don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's like you're not there, and like I feel bad for Christian Watson too, because I'm sure Christian Watson's not sitting there like, fucking Jordan Love got me injured. What his dad's saying that online. It's like, dude, don't shut your mouth. You're not involved. Injuries happen, and it sucks, and they happen a lot to Christian Watson. It does suck, and I hope he's okay, because he came back this year and he's been fantastic. He's been awesome. He was looking like a wide receiver 1, which we really needed for a long time. And to see him get hurt, I was like, damn it! Like, we can't really afford this right now, but whatever. We've got a large wide receiver pool, so maybe we'll be fine. But that's not where it ends. Because then it's the interception. We get the ball back, and I think on the third play, after they get the ball back, what happens? Micah Parsons is going in for the sack. He tries to make a little jump move towards Bo Nix, and he just falls on the ground. Non-contact injury. And this is about the point I kind of checked out of the game. I was like, fuck this. Like, I don't... It just felt like the season was over when that one happened. But after Christian Watson and him, I was like, no way. And then it wasn't only that either. Like, Zach Tom, who's been like our only consistent old lineman all season, he got hurt in this one. It sounds like this one might not be too serious either, but even so, I mean, if these guys are out like 3 weeks, that's the rest of the season. And we need to win at least one game. I mean, Micah Parsons obviously isn't coming back. What was the other one? Oh, yeah, Evan Williams. That's a big one. He's been a fantastic safety this year. I mean, he really made a huge jump this year. Him and McKinney in the backfield. I also feel like we have one of the best safety combos in the NFL. And I don't know what's up with him. I don't know how long he's going to be out, but same thing. I mean, the season's short. There's no time to wait around for these injuries anymore.
I'd say like that meme where like, they're all hanging on like they're like hung or whatever, and he's looking over and like, first time, eh? We could have that for you guys. But I feel like you've had this in the past, but the Lions have been the team that's been like this. And again this year. So it's just like, you know what? First time, huh?
Yeah, I get it. I mean, you guys had a lot of injuries, but like, I was looking at it and I was like, if I had to rate these guys, like, this is probably 6 of our 10 best players, like, that I would not want to be out of the game. And 6 of your 10 best players being out that's a disaster. Like I get it when it's like, yeah, our corner gets hurt, but is he one of your top 6 defensive players? Even it's like whatever. Replacement level. He's not going to be as good as the backup, but it's not like as detrimental. But for the Packers, it's like you lose Kraft. He's your best player on offense besides Jordan Love. He's your best player on offense this year. Maybe Jacobs, but it looked like Kraft was our best player on offense this year. He's out. Micah Parsons, obviously our best player on defense. He's out. Earlier this year, Wyatt, I'm like, I mean, he's a top 3 player on defense. Top 4 at least. I mean, McKinney's really good. Evan Williams has been really good this year, but I mean, he's a top 4. He's out. Evan Williams, again, he's probably top 5 on our defense. He's out. Watson, he was our best offensive weapon after Kraft went out. He's out. It's like, I don't know. That's just, I don't know. It's hard to recover from that. I mean, we can make the playoffs. I was more pessimistic about this on Sunday when I wrote this up. I was thinking about it a little more through the week, and I'm like, you know what? If the 49ers can make the playoffs and still be looking good, any team can do it. Because they've been absolutely decimated. Probably worse than the Packers.
I feel like you guys rely on Parsons though more for your production on defense than like they did with Bosa and some of their other players. But
And Fred Warner.
And Fred Warner. But like
That's the thing.
obviously, yeah, they're still doing a lot without some great players, and maybe you guys can too. But I really think you guys relied very heavily on Parsons for your pass rush. I don't know where you're going to find a pass rush without Parsons. I mean, you have 2 okay guys, right?
We have Rashawn Gary and we have Lucas Van Ness is healthy again. I don't even know if he's really a pass rusher anymore. We haven't used him that way all year. He hasn't been that good at it since we drafted him.
Right, he's been kind of a bust up to this point, isn't he?
Yeah, and he was looking. I mean, he's missed like the last 4 or 5 weeks now. He was back for this. Yeah, I think he was just back this last week. We didn't really do anything. But I thought about it more too, and I was like, you know what? Last year, we did not have Parsons, and we did have a pass rush, but we were bringing linebackers in a lot more, and we just haven't been doing that this year. I think we were like, we got Parsons. We don't need to be bringing linebackers in as much because we just don't need to. Like, just let Parsons do his work, and we can have our linebackers watching the edges for screen passes and outside runs, that kind of thing. But I think if we're going to have to change the scheme because the latter half of that game, we had no pressure, and it looked bad. Their defense, like I said, I mean, most of their points were scored after that happened, and they just went on a run and wound up beating us. And that was the difference. And I hope next week we can change some things up. Last year, Edgerrin Cooper had some sacks. Quay had a decent amount of sacks. And they haven't had really any this year because we just have not been using them.
Well, any team that can rush a 4 isn't going to really rush linebackers. It's just not the way to play. I mean, almost every team that has a good pass rush doesn't do that. So yeah, like I said, they're definitely going to change it up. They're going to probably blitz a lot more. That's just what you do when you lose an elite pass rusher. It just now it's like your secondary, your corners, they need to hold up for a little bit longer, or now you might get beat over the middle. So it'll be interesting to see. But like you said, it is probably a similar defense to what you had last year, which still played really well at the end of the year.
It did, but no Kenny Clark and no Devontae Wyatt.
Right, there's a lot more injured players this year than it was last year. What do you think about Parsons now? Is when do they expect him to be back next year? Because I don't think he'll even be able to start next season.
No, he won't start next season. So I think, Christian Watson had the exact same injury last year. Right around, I think his was like 2 weeks later, but he came back about week 6 this year. Parsons, he's a way bigger dude, so it might take him a little bit longer, I would think. But I think the hope is, I think the hope is midway through the season. Even if he comes back late season, like you just got to stay afloat. And if you're making a playoff run, Parsons is back for the playoff run at the end of the season. And I think the Packers have enough talent to be in contention without him.
I'd just be worried about him because he relies so heavily on his speed and burst. Like, I don't know if he'll have that until probably like the end of next year. So it's not like he'll come back and probably be the same player for the first like probably 4 to 6 games. He's going to need probably more than, I would say probably like 12 games into the season before you start seeing him play like he's been playing this year.
Yeah, I kind of worried about that, but I do look at like Christian Watson came back this year and first game back, dude was explosive, and he has been ever since. So
yeah, but JMO, when we had him, his rookie year, he didn't really get to till like the last 2 or 3 games, and he had an injury in the championship game in college, so that would have probably been a couple of weeks later than what they're injured right now. And yeah, we didn't get him until like real late into the season. And
Hmm.
like Ali McNeil, a bigger guy, he hasn't been the same from his injury yet, from his Achilles, and he came back kind of like week 6. I think he's just starting to kind of heat up right now, but I still don't think he's the same player. Maybe next year he will be. So I'm curious to see how Parsons is going to handle that. Obviously, there's cases both ways. I mean, they look at Adrian
Yep.
Peterson; he won the MVP after tearing his ACL. So it's not
Yeah.
like, oh, all is doomed. I'm just worried because of how he wins. He's so reliant on his burst and just speed
Yeah. He is.
that I feel like hurting that at all could be big. But the other thing too, some of these guys come back better because they get to train
Yeah.
so much on, small twitch muscles, things like that, that they actually build up more burst too. So he could come back and even be better. So yeah, it's one of those things. It's probably gonna be a coin flip. But I mean, if I'm gonna bet on someone, it's gonna be Parsons. That guy is like mentally a freak. Like he doesn't take anything off. He all he thinks about is football. And I'm sure
Hmm.
he's going to do everything he can in his rehab to get back on the field as soon as possible and be as dominant as he's been since he got there.
Oh yeah. I mean, he's a dude who's gonna work his nuts off to come back as quickly as he can. And yeah, the
And I
Packers
think
just need to stay competitive for the first 10 weeks of the season. And if you get a healthy Parsons in the playoffs, I mean, anything's possible after that. But yeah, it's I don't know. I mean, I do feel like our Super Bowl chance really just went out in flames in that game. We can go to the playoffs, we might win a game, but I no longer. Before this game, I was like, I think we're one of the best teams in the NFL. Like maybe not the best, but we're one of the best, and we could win the Super Bowl. And now it's like, it's kind of hard to say that anymore. It really is. So it stinks.
I mean, you lost your best player. I mean, Love
Yep.
has been good, but he's not been as dominant as Parsons is at his position. I mean, you lost your best player, who literally changed your defense. I do not think it's going to look good against good offenses, at least, because now I think you don't have that pass rush, and I think your secondary is going to get exposed a little bit more. Where Parsons, like, he covered up so much of your secondary. I
Mhm.
think, like you said, you have good safeties. I don't know if I trust your corners.
I do not very much at all. Let's put it that way. And they're going to get put to the test now.
Yep.
And it is a chance for some players to stand up and try to make a name for themselves. I mean, Gary has already been paid, so but I mean he needs to step up. I think Bari, he's been one of our pass rushers. He needs to step up. And then I think it's just the linebackers they'll have to step up and do. They're gonna have to bring those blitzes in and do what they can, and hopefully they do.
Well, is it Halfley? Is that your defense coordinator name?
Yep.
Halfley? This is like his testament to become a coach next year too. So if
Oh,
he
if he
does
makes
do
our
well,
defense look good
yeah,
at
he's
this
going to be
point,
gone,
yep,
which I think is also going to be a bad thing because then you're going to have a new
it will
defensive
be.
coordinator, and then it's like Parsons going to come back, and you're going to have a new guy. It like man, that could look rough for you guys next year. Not to like who ruin it and make it sound even worse, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they go into the offseason. You don't have any first round picks. Um, how's your cap space? I think you have like Rogers finally off, so maybe your cap space is good now.
Well, I mean, it might have been, but we signed Michael Parsons to
Yeah, that's true.
47 million a year. That's a pretty big kick in the nuts if he doesn't play for half the season. But that's also why these players want to get big contracts. They're coming off excellent stretches because they know this shit can happen at any time,
Yep.
and it happened.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, the
you're
Packers
gonna
are the
have a
ones.
very interesting offseason with all that.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I think we're gonna have to. Yeah, I'm curious what will happen next season because we're gonna have
'Cause
receivers that are gonna be wanting money too this year, and we're gonna have to move on for some of them.
you can't really make your team better next year. Like you don't have a first
No,
rounder. Like you can
no,
only sign free agents really that are probably going to be like legitimate starters for you in the beginning of the year. Maybe you get lucky and get one of those second or third rounders that ends up being just great, but you can't really rely on that. So
especially not right off the bat. Usually
yeah,
for late rounders.
that you're kind of hoping Love takes the next step and maybe you bring in like a legitimate number two or maybe even a number one receiver you can find in free agency. And that would be like your ultimate goal. And then just kind of beat teams by winning like 36-28, and then your defense gets into form by midseason.
Yeah. And I will say also, Josh Jacobs had a great day. He had his best run of the season. He had a 40-yard touchdown, 40-something yard touchdown run. It was very impressive play. Made some guys miss. I like to see that out of him. He's kind of been dealing with a banged up knee for the past month now, and he's been swelling, and I think he was just going in every other drive this game, but the drives he was in were significantly better than drives where he was out. And yeah, also if Watson is going to miss time, I think Reed limped off at the end of this game too, so I don't know if he's going to miss time or not. He just wasn't in for the final couple plays. But if those are both out, I mean that's going to give Golden a shot to really make a name for himself too, and he needs to do that because he has not so far this year. On the other side of the ball, though, Bo Nix, he played great. Again, a lot of this was the second half after Parsons went down and our defense kind of crumbled. He had 302 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. I mean, we had a chance at picking balls. McKinney dropped 2, which is brutal. One was right in the hands, and he dropped it. And that guy I think he had like 7 or 8 picks last year. He was excellent, and it sucks to watch him drop those. And there were 2 other ones. I think Valentine had one he could have caught. It wasn't super easy, but he jumped one and just didn't quite come down with it. Yeah. We did stop their run game for the most part. They only had 89 yards, but Bo Nix was great. He kind of picked us apart. And again, that kind of goes to like, what's our secondary going to do when we don't have the guy who's leading the NFL in pass and quarterback pressures? Then it didn't look good. It didn't look good this week.
Yeah, the first eyeball test, they didn't pass it.
Nope. It's hard though. I think it takes a toll on players when you watch multiple stars on your team get hurt in like there's like a 3-minute stretch between Christian getting hurt and Parsons getting hurt. Like that's
Michael is
deflating.
also like a leader of the defense, even though he's
yes,
the
absolutely.
new guy there. He seems like the emotional leader of the team in that way. So yeah, that's a hard. You either like you rebound and like you just have a crazy rebound from it and you all rally around it, or you kind of falter. I feel it's like one of the two. This game I think was kind of a, like you said, Bo Nix is a hard guy to get down. But yeah, they could rally moving at the end of the year just because, they're like, hey, let's do it for Micah. And, I'm sure he's trying to keep their spirits up too. Seems like a guy that's good for that.
Just got to get the Bears next week. If we beat the Bears, I mean, we have I think it's like a 80% chance of making the playoffs, even if we lose our last 2. So if we can just win one out of the 3, it's got to win one. Hopefully it's the Bears. And the Vikings.
I want you to,
but mainly
you said that's better for us if you beat the Bears? I don't know. How does that work? We have to win out. The Bears have to lose 2, right? For the West.
If we beat the Bears, then I think all you have to do is beat the Bears and win one other game.
Yeah, you should do that then.
Yeah, we'll try. I mean, I don't want to. Yeah, there's one team I don't want to lose to. It's the Bears. I could live with losing to the Vikings in the final week, as long as that doesn't knock us out of the playoffs. But I could live with that, even though we'd lose to JJ McCarthy, which would be a little bit painful. Speaking of, let's just jump into Vikings versus Cowboys. So the Vikings win 34-26. JJ McCarthy looks good again, 2 weeks in a row. 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, only 1 pick. Still pretty good. He also ran another touchdown in. He did the what's the Justin Jefferson dance move that he always does? The gritty?
God. The gritty, yeah. I should know. My son does it all the time. Leo's always doing the gritty. Him and his friends.
So as he was running it in, he starts doing the gritty on like the 3-yard line or so. Because it was wide. I mean, they did a fake handoff. He like looped all the way around and back, and there was not a guy within 10 yards of him. He starts doing the gritty on his way in. They showed Kevin O'Connell. He kind of like rolls his eyes when he's doing it, but he's smiling.
He came out and said that he was told not to do it or something, or maybe like he was told not to do it before the end zone. But he was like legitimately told not to do that, and he did it. And then he came out and said, like, I can't help it. That's just who I am. So I'm sure O'Connell was kind of like, all right, I'll give you that one, but don't do it again, type thing.
I mean, like I said, he was so wide. Like, if there was a guy within 5 yards, then maybe don't do it, just in case the ball gets knocked out of your hand. But it wasn't close on this one. I mean, he was, hey, Vicky, just me tonight. No Jim.
He said I.
No,
no Jim. Yeah, I'm not here. No, Heebs is sick.
No Heebs, yeah. Yeah, the Cowboys in this game, they really couldn't get any momentum. Pickens has another shitty game. That guy, I don't know. I don't know if he's just not trying in some games. I mean, the thing is part of the reason the Steelers just let him go because he's got issues and the dude has issues. I
Well,
don't know if it's like
receivers are
off the field
also
stuff.
volatile, and he is a volatile receiver because of the way he plays. I think too. He's such a jump ball, type guy. He's not a guy who just runs clean routes and gets open by like 3 yards. Those are guys that are a lot easier for quarterbacks to routinely hit. He's not like Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like Amon-Ra is just going to always get like 5 catches a game.
Yeah, it's fair.
Um, he's definitely more of like your deep threat 50-50 ball guy. So when he's cooking, I mean, he's just going to embarrass a defender over and over again. But yeah, if certain situations in a good defense, they're probably going to be able to take him out a little easier. But I mean, I don't think that's why they got rid of him. I think it's more because of his nut or head case.
Yeah,
But yeah,
but
kind of live and die by that.
yeah. Other notes: Aubrey, who has been lights out all season, the Cowboys kicker. He's kind of been the kicker of the year. He missed 2 field goals. They weren't even long ones. I think they were both like 40-yarders. This is the guys that are making like 55-yarders all season long. No sweat. So, I mean, they lost by what? More than 6, but whatever.
8.
I mean, they could have been in the game. They could have been in the game if he hasn't missed those 2 field goals, which
But that also
he doesn't
changes how
usually
you
do.
call plays at the end too. You're
Yeah,
down 8. If
exactly.
you're down, if you hit both of those and you're only down 2, maybe
Hmm.
you change things in how you play. So that's a big deal. Kickers are weird. I feel like one year like you're thinking this is the best kicker in the league, and the next year they're like released. It must be like so mental. So hopefully that's not something that gets to him and then he starts missing. But I feel like a lot of the kicking game is mental, and he's obviously been the best, and he has a crazy leg. I know they like changed the balls this year so guys can kick further, and he's obviously taken big advantage of that.
Hmm.
But it's probably just an off game. Everyone's
Yeah,
gets one of those every now and then.
yeah, I would assume so. I mean, you don't want to end the season like that. I think he's due for a contract too, which I don't know how much kickers make, but I assume he'll be the highest paid kicker if he gets a contract.
I'm sure it's probably like 5 million a year or something. I can't imagine it's
Yeah,
much more than that.
I mean, it's
I
nothing you
mean,
can
it's still a
complain
lot for a
about.
kicker. I mean, yeah, if you get
Yeah,
to just kick a
no,
field goal every now and then, like that's all
yeah,
you do, and you make 5 million a year. I mean, I'd sign up
yeah.
for that.
I mean, it's a high pressure job. I mean, you miss a game winning field goal and people be pissed.
That's okay. You get the guaranteed contract, and it's like, all right, if I suck enough, cut me, and I'll just what was
Oh,
that?
true.
Cooey, that one Vikings kicker. Didn't he come out something with him and like
I don't
coming out and
remember.
supporting of gay, or he was gay, and then basically, oh no, he was very political. He said something political. This is like 10 years ago, and he got released.
Hmm.
And he just basically was like, "Yeah, I made enough money. I'm just gonna just keep doing my political thing and just keep the like 10 mil in my bank account."
Yeah, why not? It's enough. And like you don't have to get hit. You don't have to play that often. Like it's a pretty cush job. But yeah, I
Oh yeah.
mean, when you miss the important ones though, like fans get pissed. Like they're calling for your head.
And
So
like I said, that's a mental thing. I think that's when it starts
yeah.
to, really start weighing on those guys. And then they start looking at that kick like, oh, shoot. And I think as soon as you get that doubt, I think it just seems like every kicker goes through that phase where they have like a bad stretch and it's like, can you get out of it or not? Maybe he hits a
Mhm.
bad stretch. Like I said, it's probably just a one game with him. He's been incredible. So I shouldn't even be bringing anything negative up for him. Like, yeah, he probably had one bad game and he'll be back to normal.
But yeah, Vikings get the win. Uh, like I said though, they get knocked out of playoff contention despite the win, just because the other teams that needed a win to knock them out did. So there's the best they could do is 9-8, and 9-8 is not good enough to make the playoffs this year. So sorry, Vikings. I guess just hope JJ McCarthy keeps looking good for the rest of the season, so you don't have to worry about quarterback again next year.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
he's actually pretty good. I mean, you're just talking about Bo Nix last game. They let Bo Nix like just kind of play. They don't mess with his mechanics a lot. Like Bo Nix definitely needs some work on his mechanics. I don't know if it's the same mechanics they've been JJ McCarthy, but they kind of did the same thing. It's just like play your game, dude. Like just take the last couple games, play your game. We're not going to try to, put a round peg in a square hole. Just be yourself. And I think
yeah,
look at it's working really well for him. So it's the same thing with Bo Nix. He's got the same issues, and sometimes you just gotta let players play their game. And then this offseason, I think they just if he keeps this up, he still can't throw to Jefferson for some reason. Like he's got
yeah.
like I think it was he had a perfect passer rating throwing to everyone else on the team outside of Jefferson. So I don't know what the heck's going on there. But yeah, I think they need to figure that out. And then if he can play a couple good games, then they just work on him the mechanics throughout the offseason. And I think they are not feeling that bad if they, let's say they go 2-1 in the next 3 games, which ends up in their last 4, 3-1, and JJ McCarthy plays well. I think they're feeling good for next season.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes, different quarterbacks play different. It's not always like this is how you always do it.
Mm-hmm.
I watch Jordan Love every week, and the amount of times he just throws off his back foot is crazy. He does it so often, but most of the time it's a good throw. So I think eventually coaches are like, I don't know, it works for you for some reason. This shouldn't work. I don't know how you got into the habit of doing this. Aaron Rodgers did it a lot too, so you might have learned like it's okay as long as you know how to do it. But it's very strange how often that happens. But when it's working, I guess you just say fuck it, let the guy do his weird things.
I mean, I think that's why Mahomes is so successful. If he would have gone to a different team, but I think Andy Reid just let him play his game. I think there's a lot of coaches who would have tried to change how Mahomes plays. That's just doesn't work for most guys, especially the guys like that are very athletic, that can throw off platform, like Love. McCarthy can do that stuff. Bo Nix, like those guys, they just play differently because they can. Not everyone has to be Jared Goff, Tom Brady, and just be cerebral in the pocket and 1, 2, 3, perfect throw, perfect throw. Like, no, these guys, they learn to play a different game because they can play in different platforms, different levels of the field. So yeah, I think just let him keep doing his thing.
We'll see if it works out for him next season and the rest of the season. But then NFC North standings, we got the Bears. They're back in first place again at 10-4. Packers are in second at 9-4-1. Lions are third at 8-6, and Vikings are fourth at 6-8. Other games around the NFL. The Chiefs lost to the Chargers. So they officially got eliminated from the playoffs. Also, Patrick Mahomes tore his ACL as well. So
they said he messed up his PCL and his other knee, so both
yes.
his knees got messed up. So
it's quite the week. I mean, you've got one of the best offensive players in the NFL going down with an ACL, and one of the best defensive players in the NFL going down with an ACL. I mean, that's a brutal. Those are the two faces of the NFL, and they're both same week within like 10 minutes of each other. Honestly,
yeah.
Like, weren't these on at the same time? Oh, maybe the Chiefs were on at noon.
Chiefs were noon because I think I watched the Chiefs game before the Lions
within
game.
a few
I remember
hours of each
watching
other.
it. I watched that injury happen. I was like, oh, that's not good. He like landed directly on his knee, and his knee like popped, and then he landed on his knee. So I think the pop was the ACL, and I think when he landed it was the PCL. And I was like, yep, that was bad. He knew right away.
I'll be curious what happens with him because I don't know if he'll be back to start next season. Probably not.
Well, Daniel Jones, they said, is probably going to be ready for the start of the offseason, and he was just injured last week. So maybe with the quarterbacks and the smaller guys, they feel like it's manageable, but I don't know. That it's weird. I feel like you'd think they would probably be barely starting.
I think your ACL is more about like lateral movement. So maybe as a quarterback, you can be like, you can play, just if you're going to get sacked, just you can't juke left and right anymore. Like, that's off the table.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah. So maybe that is the case.
If you're just going to drop back and throw it, you can still do it. And you'd probably rather have Patrick Mahomes that can't scramble over whoever their backup's going to be. So they might just let him play. We'll see. I mean, that's a long ways away. We'll see what happens. But yeah, Chiefs are out of the playoffs.
That Tom Brady injured his ACL in his 9th season, and now Mahomes did it, so everyone's freaking out because he's had like 3 Super Bowls, and it's just like, oh, it's happening again.
Well, I saw the stat, and it was like, yeah, the first time Brady missed the playoffs was when he hurt his knee, and they didn't make the playoffs that year. But it's like, yeah, but Tom Brady hurt it in week 1, and that's why they didn't make the playoffs.
It's not the same.
The Chiefs were pretty much already out of the playoffs. Like, maybe they would have won that game, but they needed to win out and still hope for some luck to make the playoffs at this point. So they were kind of already out, in my opinion.
I think so too. I don't think even if they won it, they were going to make it. They had no room. Did you see Chris Jones? They talked to him, and they're like,
he didn't know they were out.
How do you not know if your team is going to get eliminated or not? That's just.
I don't know what they asked him, but he's like, yeah, we got to fight for every win now. There's a slim chance, but we got to win out, and we'll see what happens. See if luck blows us. Like, and he's like, wait, someone must have said something. He's like,
someone.
Oh wait, we're already eliminated. Oh. he's probably not used to it. He's probably like, I don't know. We just always go to the playoffs. I assumed
He's not
we were gonna
always
go again.
been the brightest guy either, so I'm
Yeah,
sure he probably just didn't even know. Like, I mean, was he the guy that was yelling at Jalen Hurts when they were losing and they were like kneeling, and then he's just
yeah,
like, "You guys
talking
didn't rush
shit.
for 100 yards." It's like we won. It's like, what are you bitching about?
Yeah,
Yeah, Chris Jones, not the smartest man.
yeah. He's getting older too. I'm curious what the Chiefs do. Kelsey might retire
Chiefs
this
are.
year. Chris
Mhm.
Jones might. I think he might have a year left on his contract, so he probably won't.
They might
But
not be a playoff team for another year or two. Like they are going to have to do some soul searching. They're going to have to really look at Chris Jones and
if
Kelsey and be like, okay, are you guys ready to play another season? Even if they are, it's like we still need to probably figure out other things. Like we need a succession
yes,
plan and things like that. So they, yeah, you got Mahomes. You pretty much always have a shot, but they really don't have anything good other than a okay offensive line and Patrick Mahomes, and then some aging stars. And
hmm
their defense has been pretty good, but again, it's aging. So like they need to inject some
and if
youth
Chris
into that
Jones
team.
goes out, how good's their defense going to be? Because he's kind of been the all-star there for the last
Uh,
half decade.
I mean, he's definitely one of the catalysts to the defensive line and their pressure packages and all that. So yeah, I mean they're and they have a hard division. So I'm curious to see how that works. And it's not like Mahomes has been great the last couple of years. I mean, I never really thought he was the best quarterback even 3 years ago. Like I said, I've always thought it was Josh Allen, but he has had now 2 or 3 years where he hasn't even been like a top 5 quarterback throughout the season.
No.
So yeah, their dynasty days might be over.
Well, I mean, if Mahomes going to miss half a season next year, which is possible, I mean, because it's not just the ACL, there's like more going on there. They might just say, "Fuck this year, let's take a year off and like really retool this thing."
I think they should. I think that's what they need to do. I think they need to just blow some things up, get rid of some of the, bloated cap space on their team with people like Kelsey and Jones. I mean, again,
Mm,
Jones might have a year left, but you might as well just re evaluate your cap space, blow it up, and then go for a youth movement. And then, yeah, in like a year or two, Mahomes and some new young players, maybe get another like star receiver or something like that. And then you
Yeah,
can start looking at maybe the playoffs again. Cause yeah, you're with the division being so difficult. I mean,
yeah,
I think you just kind of have to do that and just understand like it's not about winning the next one, it's about winning and being successful the next 5 years.
yeah. I mean, that's what you would think, especially if you got Mahomes there. Like,
Hmm.
you're always kind of going to be a contender. But if you want to take the year off, I mean, you could possibly trade Jones to somebody, get a pick. I mean, he's
Third,
older. There's
fourth
only a year
rounder.
left, but somebody will still give you something for him.
Especially
And
next year, if
then,
like they don't have a good record going
yeah,
in next year, Mahomes, doesn't play for the first couple games. Let's say they're like 1-5, then you maybe trade Chris Jones for a fifth or fourth
a
rounder and
contender.
just say,
Yeah,
right, and then you just say, okay, we're done this year, and then next year is when you retool.
but yeah. Denver looks great, and the Chargers. I mean, they have their old line is like all backups, and they still look pretty good. Like, so I mean that might that's going to be a very hard division, like you said.
Well, plus the Chargers had a lot of injuries, so like
That's what I'm
if
saying.
they
Like their
get
whole O
healthy,
line is injured,
yeah, and like
and
they're healthy next year, like they might be the best team in the division. I think they are
yeah,
actually if they're healthy. I still don't think the Broncos are great. I don't trust Bo Nix for a whole season. I would think the
yeah.
Chargers are probably the cream of that division, cream of the top.
Bo Nix keeps playing like he did against the Packers. He might be the best quarterback in that division. So that was a fantastic game. Anyways, a couple other games. Baltimore shuts out the Bengals, so Bengals are out. Playoffs are gone officially now. Baltimore still is behind Pittsburgh, so they don't really have a playoff spot locked up. It's going to be one of those two coming out of that division, but it's not a great division. We'll see what happens.
So they play again, right?
Uh, who? Baltimore Steelers?
Yeah, it's like what's the schedule for
I
them?
think so.
They play the final game of the season.
Yeah, that might be for the playoff spot.
They got a rough schedule though. They have, well, I guess depending how the Packers perform,
Yeah,
but they have the Patriots this next week, and then they have the Packers, and then they finish the Steelers. So they probably have to win two of those, and the Steelers have to lose to like the Lions, and then they beat the Steelers for them to get in. I would imagine
yeah.
that would give them the better record. So they probably have a decent shot. But yeah, that's. I still think they're going to win the division, but the the Steelers look pretty solid against the Dolphins, and Dolphins are playing really well.
Yeah, Steelers look as good as Baltimore this year. I mean, other teams looked
Mhm.
great. That's the gist of it. So it's a toss up there. I don't know who would win that division. Other games, Buffalo, they got their revenge against Patriots. That was a big game this week. Patriots, I think, were up 21-0 at one point, and they managed to lose it. So good job on Buffalo, getting a little revenge on the Patriots. Patriots been
Drake May
dominating
is
that
like
division.
1-12 now, and like come from behind like victory stats. Like he's never like won in those situations if he's like down by like a score at the end of the game.
Okay,
So it's very interesting. He's never thrown over 300 yards. He's very bad, like at the end of games, or at least statistically, he's not performed the best, stat wise or win loss wise. I don't know how he's done statistic wise. Sometimes those stats are lopsided, where it's like, okay,
they
they
can
throw
be.
it 14 touchdowns, one pick. I think Rodgers had that a couple of years where like he was just incredible at the end of the season or end of games, and like the defense just always failed him. But I don't think the Patriots are nearly as good as their record shows. They've really struggled against better opponents. And Drake May, like as good as he's been, he has so many limiting factors that make me think like, he might not be the quarterback everyone thinks he is. Like a lot of people are saying he might be an MVP this year. I don't see it with him. He's good. He's better than I think a lot of people expected for this season, but I think he still has a ways to go.
Yeah, well, I think it was basically him and Matt Stafford for the last 3 weeks now. It
Yeah.
was those two, and I think Love was actually number three, but Love was like plus 5,000, and those guys were like they kind of flip flop, but one would be like or minus. I don't know. I don't bet that much, but those two are like within 200 of zero, and then Love was like 500 or 5,000 or something like that.
It's
He
it's
was like way
probably
way
Allen
out.
and Stafford now. It's one of those two. I mean,
I don't think
Allen,
Allen should have a shot at it this year. He's been
he's
too bad too often this year. He's had too
he
many
was like that
shitty
last year
games.
too, though. He had like multiple shitty games last year,
He
but he
didn't
has.
deserve it last year either, to be perfectly honest. I mean, that was Lamar's MVP. They just gave it to Josh because Lamar wasn't getting three in a row.
I still think it's Stafford's to lose. He has to probably
Yeah,
have a bad game, like a really bad game, or like two like okay games and like one good game, and then like Allen would have to just go like nuclear the last three games.
I would just be pissed if Josh Allen has the final good 4 games and wins it after all the shitty fucking games he's had this year. They got to be
What is,
bullshit. He's had way
I'm just
too many
looking.
shitty games.
I'm just
They
seeing what his
lost to the
stats are
fucking
right now.
Saints, didn't they?
Yeah,
Or no, they didn't lose to the
I don't know.
Saints. But they lost to the. Oh, they've had some bad. They've had some really embarrassing losses.
He's got
And
25
he's
touchdowns, 10 picks, 70% completion percentage, 104 rating. And then, yeah, Stafford's got 66.4 completion percentage, which Stafford's never been a high completion percentage guy, but
it's lower than I thought
37
it'd be.
touchdowns, 5 picks, and
37 to
112
five.
passer rating.
Yeah, versus 25 to 10.
Yeah,
That's not even
Stafford,
close.
I mean, you got to give Allen his rushing stats, which I don't see in the
That's true.
statistics I'm
That's
looking
true.
at. But I would say, yeah, unless Stafford really has a bad game, I think it's Stafford's. He's played too well this year.
Yeah, I mean Drake May was up there all season though, so and he probably still is. He's probably still the number 2 bet.
Let's see if I,
Other games real quick though. We'll just go over Tampa Bay. They lost to the Falcons. They moved themselves further away from the playoffs, and it's we were talking about this last week, I think, but it's Bucks versus Panthers now, and those two games are 100% of what's going to determine who gets it. Uh, then Seattle beats the Colts, and Grandpa Rivers. Yeah, Seattle beats the Colts and Grandpa Rivers with a field goal in the final 30 seconds of the game. So Philip Rivers almost comes into the NFL and beats one of the top contending teams. I think this might have been like a. This is one of those games I think Seattle is kind of looking past because the Colts have just been spiraling. They've been terrible for the last 6 weeks now, and they bring in Philip Rivers to play. I don't think they were taking this game too seriously because
they
this is insane that it was this close.
they played a very vanilla defense, and I even was listening to some Seahawks fans basically say like they thought it almost cost them the game. So
It
that
did.
could be kind of true. But I mean, Rivers. The only thing, I mean, the reason they played a vanilla defense is I don't think they thought Rivers could throw deep and he couldn't. Like Rivers, intermediate and like short range, he was fine. He was passable, but he doesn't have the zip to get the ball down the field, probably like past 30 yards. So that's concerning. Luckily, they don't have like a JMO or something like that, or even Watson. a big deep threat guy, so that doesn't really probably matter for them as much. All their receivers are pretty much possession
Oh,
receivers.
yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
So like, yeah, they actually have that one deep threat guy, but he also plays kind of more mid type routes too. Um, but yeah, I think he's passable for him. It was interesting to see. It was fun to watch. I did watch all his throws, and I was just like, man, at 44 years old, he's still better than probably half the starters in the league, just
Well,
because he understands,
yeah.
the offense, and it also proves how bad the quarterback position is overall in the NFL.
Well, I mean, yeah, but like you said, I mean, not only the age, but he literally got off the couch, came back, and started football within a week of getting the call. That's
Supposedly,
nuts.
they're really
That's
impressed
impressive.
in practice with him. They said like there wasn't a ball that hit the ground. They said he looked really good.
Yeah, but I mean, you play quarterback for that long. I think you just kind of know a lot of things. Like you just have the intelligence to play the position that rookies that are way more athletic and can throw the ball way further and way harder and way faster.
Hmm.
They don't have that experience. I mean, you do something for as long as he did, like you just learn a lot of things.
Right.
That's you. There's no way to learn other than to do it for so long, and he did.
Yep.
So
And he's never had a big arm. That was never Rivers'
no,
thing. He was always, I want to say below average, probably like average to above average. Now he's below average, but I mean, that's not how he won. So he always won through progressions, knowing where to get
yep,
the ball. And he's just, like I said, he's been there forever. And he's known Steichen's offense for years.
yeah,
And beyond that, he's been in the league for 15 plus years. So yeah, it was pretty easy for him to get back in there and just be passable.
yeah. That's it. Unless you got other games to mention.
Nothing here.
All right, we'll call it there then. Thanks for listening. Enjoy your Jameson. God damn, I'm back to that again. Enjoy your Jameis Winston quote of the week. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
I'm typically a ham person, but Taysom Hill put me on this Uncle Ray's turkey. They ship this turkey right to your door. You pop that thing in the oven, and I'm talking about it is succulent. That thing is juicy, it's spicy. Oh my God, it's amazing.